right off the get-go, I am going to give a big shout out to dads. More specifically, the good ones. The kind of dads that would drive us to hockey practice, attend bullshit parent-teacher meetings, and the ones that snuck us that first sip of beer. The kind of dads that are worthy of that special mug or jumbo-sized t-shirt designating them the world's greatest. If I were to review a movie depicting one of these quintessential dads, a dad that we can all look up to and admire, I definitely failed with this one. This movie falls squarely into the category of absentee father who's looking to rekindle his relationship with his estranged son, all in the short runtime of 93 minutes. In other similar movies, our deadbeat dads have been known to dress up in drag to show their worth, or not lie over the course of a day. Not in this one. If you're a long-haul trucker and badass arm wrestler, your kid should be plenty impressed with you. That's right. I watched Over the Top, a movie that teaches us that there's nothing more important in this world than winning the arm wrestling world championships in Las Vegas, baby. I mean, winning the love and affection of your family. That's better. So, if you're an aspiring world's greatest dad or neglected child, crack open a cold one and join me for another movie review from the Great White North. The movies might be good or bad, but at least the reviews will be beauty. Over the Top is a 1987 sports drama film written and starring Sylvester Stallone. When seeing that name associated with a film, you can pretty much expect it to be garbage. With the exception of Rocky, where Stallone was nominated for Oscars in both acting and writing. But here's the thing, this isn't Rocky, and this movie is about as far away as you can get from Oscar nominations, as Stallone was nominated for Worst Actor at the Golden Raspberry Awards in 1988. Fortunately for all those that are going to watch this film, it definitely holds the title of So Bad It's Good, for an absurd premise, unintentionally funny scenes, and a never-ending string of rock ballads. So, at very least, you're gonna be entertained. The film stars Sylvester Stallone as Lincoln Hawk, an all-American Joe with a tough name and even tougher profession, long-haul trucker. It's the kind of profession that keeps you on the road, away from your wife and son for long stretches at a time. So what constitutes a long stretch? Couple weeks? No. Couple months? Not even close. Couple years? Fat chance. Try a decade. Ooh. Talk about worst dad ever. Right there. Daddy wasn't there. So why does Hawk even decide to go back to his family? Overwhelming guilt, that's why. His estranged wife is dying of heart disease, and her last dying wish is for Hawk to pick up Michael from military school so they can bond with each other on the long journey back home. At this point, I like to draw attention to the fact that Hawk's son's name is Michael. That's right, his name is Mike Hawk. I mean, when you're naming your kid Mike, you are a shitty dad and an even bigger troll.
Moe's Tavern, where the elite meet to drink.
Yeah, hello, is Mike there? Last name?
Hold on, I'll check. Mike. Hey, has anybody seen my lately?
So how does Hawk even begin to win this kid over? I mean, he only has a limited number of skills. I mean, he drives truck, he works out, and most of all, he's an arm wrestler. Okay, I suppose we can do those three things over and over again throughout the movie. It's not like 12-year-old kids have their own passions and hobbies. And if they do, they're probably stupid anyway. It's really a simple plan here. Your passions are now his passions. Your dreams are now his dreams. Hey kid, I hope you like filthy truck stops and dingy bars because that's where the action happens. That's where individuals like the Smasher like to hang out and arm wrestle with your dad.
I'm the Smasher.
It's a nice name.
I got 1,000 that says I could tear your arm off. You want it?
Now, you might notice that the Smasher is wearing a Canadian arm wrestling t-shirt and ask, "Hey Tres, do you know that bozo? Have you seen him up there in Canada before?" No, I have not. But if I had to wager a guess, I'd say he's probably from somewhere like Moose Jaw. Getting into the arm wrestling match with the Smasher and seeing Hawk's technique, I don't know if all that finger jazz that he pulls towards the end is actually legitimate, or if it's just cheating. Either way, I will say that that signature move does help remind all of us of what movie we are watching over and over again.
Over the top. Ready?
Hard, Mike. Over the top. Over the top, Mike.
Pull it! Pull it, Dad, over the top!
In the world of arm wrestling, we call this over the top.
So we've come to the point in the movie where we are asking ourselves, who's the bad guy? Where's the conflict? Well, I've boiled it down to 3. Firstly, we have Jason Cutler, Hawk's father-in-law and Mike's grandfather, who believes that Hawk has no part being in his grandson's life.
But you're a deserter, plain and simple. You deserted your wife and your son.
Michael Cutler is my boy. You deserted him years ago, and that's a fact that you can't change, no matter what you do. Damn you!
Actually, he's got a pretty good point there. I mean, I'd be pretty pissed too if some deadbeat was hanging around my grandkid. You know what? Scratch him off the list. He's not the bad guy. Alright. Secondly, I suppose we've got the arm wrestling competition. I mean, on the surface, these are some pretty scary gentlemen. We've got Mad Dog Madison, who approaches each match with seizure-like shaking. John Grizzly, whose diet consists of cigars and motor oil. Ew. And Hawk's old rival, Bill Hurley, who has a definite case of the meat sweats. To be honest, I can't really fault these guys for anything other than being eccentric characters. I mean, I suppose I could harp on their alleged steroid abuse, but all in all, these guys play by the rules and don't cheat. So you know what? Scratch them off the list. They're not really bad guys. So, that brings us to our final potential bad guy in the list. And that's Lincoln Hawk himself. He's an absentee dad that's been gone so long that he needs to produce a valid ID to his son to prove that he is the father. A yahoo with no sense of child endangerment who tries to teach his son how to drive a giant semi-truck without seatbelts. A psychopath who thinks it's acceptable to ram that same semi-truck into the side of his father-in-law's mansion. So, there you have it. I think we've found our winner of worst person in this film.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Dad, stand up and take a bow.
Yes, this is one of the few movies where the bad guy actually comes out on top. At this point, you're probably asking, Tress, is this movie even all that good? No, it really isn't. But over the top, I will give it a generous rating of 6.2. Like I said before, it's pretty darn entertaining. You have an absurd premise and a lot of unintentionally funny scenes. And being a movie that comes in at 93 minutes, you'll have plenty of time left in your day to spend it with your neglected children. So, there you have it. That's the score, and that's the review.
I drive, truck, break arms, and arm wrestle. It's what I love to do, and it's what I do best. Being number one is everything. There is no second place. Second sucks.